Imagine someone whispering in your ear, the U.S. might be plotting the biggest financial reset in modern history. Sounds like the opening line of a thriller, right? But this isn't Hollywood. We're talking about real money, real power, and trillions in loans coming due. And the kicker? It's not just about printing extra bills or raising taxes like we've seen before. Nope, this time the game seems a whole lot bigger now. Here's where things start to feel like a plot twist. According to Russia, America's got a secret playbook that could wipe away over $37 trillion in debt by shaking up the entire global system. It's the kind of move that makes you wonder, what if your savings, your retirement, even your paycheck could vanish in value overnight without a single headline calling it a default? Wild, right? And yet, the more you look, the more the puzzle pieces start to line up. Between political whispers, strange policy shifts, and signals in the markets, it's hard to ignore the smoke. And you know what they say? Where there's smoke, there's fire. But to really get what's going on, we need to rewind a bit and look at how America's debt bomb got so massive in the first place. Picture the U.S. economy like a balloon that's been pumped way past its limit. Every day, it gets bigger with trillions in loans coming due, and sooner or later, something's got to give. Foreign central banks are already poking holes in it, ditching U.S. treasuries and running straight into the arms of gold. Why? Because when trust in the dollar slips, smart players look for assets that won't vanish in thin air. And here's where things take a darker turn. Higher interest rates don't just hurt Wall Street, they creep into everyday life. It's like when your credit card company jacks up your rates, and suddenly you're paying way more for the same debt. Except here, it's entire nations footing the bill. The U.S. has to borrow more just to keep the system alive, but the higher the yields, the tougher it gets to roll things over. That's financial quicksand. Now, drop yourself into the Eastern Economic Forum, where Anton Kobakov, an advisor to Vladimir Putin, basically pointed a finger at the U.S. and said, "We know what you're up to." His claim? America's gearing up to reset the whole system using crypto and gold. Think about it, shoving mountains of debt into digital tokens, devaluing it, then relaunching with a shiny new gold play. Sounds out there? Maybe, but that's exactly why the story's starting to gain traction. Stablecoins might sound like just another tech buzzword, but they've quickly become the star of this story. Imagine a digital token that promises to stay steady, pegged one-to-one to the US dollar or treasuries. At first glance, it feels futuristic, almost like America stepping confidently into the digital age. And when Trump signed the Genius Act to create the legal framework for them, many celebrated it as innovation that would keep the U.S. competitive. But dig a little deeper, and you start to see the cracks. Stablecoins backed by treasuries don't just create a new payment system, they create artificial demand for U.S. debt. It's like a magician pulling rabbits out of a hat. Suddenly, debt looks attractive because it's tied to something digital and safe. In reality, this could turn stablecoins into one of the Fed's backdoor crisis tools, a quiet way to prop up a shaky financial empire without anyone asking too many questions. Think of it like a lifeboat that looks sturdy on the outside, but is actually full of holes. People might jump in, believing it'll keep them safe, while in truth, it's just buying time before the big wave hits. And if these tokens are being set up as the stage for the next big trick, the real twist comes when the rules of the game suddenly change. Now picture this. Millions of people holding stablecoins, trusting that one coin always equals $1. Then bam, the rules change overnight. Suddenly, that dollar-backed coin is only worth 50 cents. Just like that, Washington slashes its debt in half, while investors, foreign governments, and everyday folks eat the loss. That's not called defaulting. It's what insiders label legal bail-ins, a clever way to clean the books without ever admitting failure. And here's the part that stings. Even if you've never touched crypto in your life, you're not off the hook. Everything tied to the dollar system, your savings account, your retirement plan, even the paycheck you rely on, would lose value in a single stroke. It's the financial equivalent of waking up to find your wallet lighter, your bills heavier, and no explanation other than new rules. Brutal, right? Think of it like buying a concert ticket for your favorite band, only to find the venue halved your seat and doubled the price of popcorn. You didn't agree to it, but you're still stuck with the consequences. And when you line this up with history, you start to see that this kind of rug pull isn't exactly new. It's just wearing digital clothes this time. If all this still sounds like science fiction, just take a look at history. Back in the 1930s, the US government pulled a bold move confiscating gold from its own citizens and then revaluing it from $20.67 to $35 an ounce. Overnight, the dollar lost 41% of its purchasing power. Imagine waking up and finding that the money in your pocket suddenly bought almost half as much. That's the kind of financial sleight of hand Kubikov says is about to make a comeback. Fast forward to the 1970s, and it happened again, this time on the world stage. America shut down gold convertibility, basically telling foreign nations, sorry, your dollars can't be swapped for gold anymore. It was an indirect default, and the fallout was brutal. Inflation soared, and in less than a decade, U.S. citizens lost nearly half of their purchasing power. It's a story that proves when times get tough, governments don't mind rewriting the rules. And now, according to Russia, Washington's dusting off that same playbook, just swapping paper tricks for digital ones. Instead of seizing gold or closing a gold window, the new trick is shoving debt into the cloud and flipping the switch. The pattern is clear. Whenever the system gets cornered, the solution has always been to sacrifice the people holding the bag, which makes you wonder if history really does repeat. What role will gold play this time? Gold has always been the quiet giant in the financial world. When currencies crash, when empires fall, gold just sits there, shining, reminding everyone why people say gold is built to endure. Central banks know this. They've been stacking record amounts over the last few years. It's like a survival kit. When paper promises start to burn, you grab the one thing that doesn't turn to ash dot. Now imagine this scenario. After debt is pushed into stablecoins and quietly devalued, the US announces a gold revaluation to restore trust. Suddenly, the price of gold shoots through the roof. Analysts talk about tens of thousands of dollars per ounce. Think about what that means. The balance of power would shift overnight. Whoever holds gold doesn't just survive the reset. They own the reset dot. It's a little like playing Monopoly with friends. And halfway through the game, the banker decides to change the value of the money while holding all the property cards. Everyone else scrambles, but the banker walks away with control. That's why gold isn't just a relic. It's a weapon in the financial wars of today. But if gold is the shield, what happens when the cracks in the dollar system grow so wide that even shields can't hide them? The cracks in the system aren't just whispers. They're showing up in plain sight. With the repo facility near zero, it's like watching the oil gauge on your car drop into the red zone. You might still be driving, but everyone knows you won't get far without stalling. The dollar's dominance, once untouchable, now looks shaky, and nations around the globe are quietly making backup plans. Russia, China, and the BRICS alliance are already making moves to carve out a post-dollar future. Instead of relying on one global reserve currency, they're dividing the map into zones, some backed by crypto, others leaning on gold. It's a game of financial musical chairs, and no one wants to be left standing when the music stops. The message is clear. The world is preparing for a reset, whether Washington admits it or not. And here's the question that keeps people up at night. Is Russia genuinely exposing a U.S. strategy, or is this just shade thrown at a declining dollar? Either way, the result feels the same. The clock is ticking, the stage is set, and if history's any guide, the next move won't be gentle. Which brings us to the most uncomfortable question of all. Who's really going to foot the bill when the reset button finally gets pressed? So after all this, the real takeaway is clear. Resets don't just happen to governments or markets. They happen to people like you. The debt game being played with trillions in loans coming due, the whispers of legal bail-ins, and the cracks where the repo facility nears zero aren't just headlines. They're warning signs that could touch your wallet, your savings, and your future. But here's the good news. Knowledge is power. The more you understand these patterns, the better prepared you are to make smart moves. Whether that's learning about gold, because, let's face it, gold is built to endure, or simply paying closer attention to how money is shifting, the first step is awareness. Ignoring it won't protect you, but engaging with it just might. Now, let me throw this back to you. Do you believe Russia really exposed America's secret strategy? Or is this just another layer of geopolitical theater? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your perspective could spark the next big conversation here. And hey, if you want to keep uncovering these hidden truths with me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. The reset clock is ticking, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next.